Hemophilia is a genetic blood disorder in which one of the proteins involved in clotting is missing, so your clotting process is abnormal. Hemophilia can range in severity from mild, moderate to severe, meaning if you're mild, there may only be a small percentage of your blood in which that protein is missing. Maybe 98% of your blood carries a given protein, 2% does not. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're severe, it's usually less than 1%. So in my case, as a severe hemophiliac, less than 1% of my blood naturally produces the factor VIII protein. I started working on Stop the Bleeding in August of 2011. Frankly, out of desperation. I didn't know what I wanted to do next in my career. And I pitched the idea to various members of the hemophilia industry who showed interest but ultimately dismissed it. Traditionally, I would have just moved on. That happens in entertainment. You come up with ideas, doesn't work out, you move on. But something stuck with me. I felt that this was important, so I had to figure out why I felt that way. And I realized the reason that, to me, this kind of work is important is it speaks to a demographic that my brother belonged to when he passed away. My brother Adam was 18 and died of an undiagnosed and untreated bleed to his brain. And he was away at school. When we were cleaning out his dorm room, we found his medicine was tucked away under his bed. So the thought is he wasn't keeping up with his prophylactic or proactive infusion regimen at the time of the injury. He had always been good as a kid, but he was under mom's care at that point. When he became a young adult, the habits were not instilled in him. So what were we doing to instill good habits in young adults, late teens, early 20s, into their 30s? And frankly, I found not enough. So I thought about, well, where are young adults? What do? They watch videos online. They watch entertaining content, hundreds of hours of it every single day. So if we have a message that we want to communicate to them, that's the platform to do it on. Once I got to that point in the thought process, it was just a matter of when. I hooked up with Ryan at Believe Limited, he was on board, and it was just a matter of when.
When Patrick came to me with just the skeleton of an idea for Stop the Bleeding, what I heard initially was a really grand, really smart idea that we had almost no way of making happen. And that really intrigued me. That got my blood flowing, that got my juices going. If you try to advertise to young people, they're gonna tune it out. They're way, way too intelligent and way too inundated with ads now. Throughout the course of their day, whether it's on their mobile phone, now in their textbooks, at their schools, on their friends' t-shirts and clothes and shoes and hats, they're so inundated that if you try to advertise to them, they're gonna tune it out. Stop the Bleeding is a form of reaching young people, the hardest demo to really engage, and it's a way to do it without advertising. The whole idea from day one was let's make people laugh, and in making them laugh, they'll absorb a little bit of what we want them to absorb. And that was it. It's clean and simple, and that's why it works. It's funny first. So the challenge of getting this done and getting it funded was really exciting, and I just thought it was incredibly forward-looking to say we're gonna reach young people by trying not to advertise to them, by just being funny.
At my brother's funeral, once the service had ended, I was one of the pallbearers. And I remember thinking, this will be the last thing I ever do for him. And the moment the coffin reached the hearse, I fell apart. And it wasn't until less than a year ago that I realized that was not true. I'm not doing this for him, but something like this may engage one, two, or many other guys like him who have developed bad habits or grown complacent, forgotten that while they're healthy, they do have a critical disorder that needs their attention. And if I can affect one of their lives, he didn't die, he sacrificed. It's a little cliche, but whatever helps.